Okay, so we're talking about finding the distance between 2 points in the coordinate plane. We just wrote our formula down, and we're going to do an example with easy numbers. So let's say the 2 points were 4, 8, and -3, 7. Okay, so if I had those 2 points on the coordinate plane and I wanted to find the distance between the two, okay? So it doesn't matter which one you call the first point, which one you call the second point, because I'm talking about a distance, right? So I'll just call the first one my first point. So that's x of my first point, y of my first point, x of my second point, y of my second point. And now if I have the formula, I just plug it in. So the distance between the two is equal to a big old square root. Subtract the x's. So -3 minus 4, close it and square it. y2, 7 minus 8, close it, square it. Now I just have to do the math. So -3 minus 4 is, but -7 squared is 49. Okay. 7 minus 8 is -1, but -1 squared is 1. So now I take the square root of 50. The square root of 50 isn't a nice number, but I can simplify that radical to be, yes, 5 root 2 is correct. Because I would split it up into 25 times 2, thank you. So I get 5 root 2 as the distance between those 2 points. Do you remember doing this way back when? Okay. You just may not have remembered the formula, but that's the gist of it, okay? And it really is, it is the Pythagorean theorem just rewritten. This is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, but to get c by itself, wouldn't you take the square root of the whole thing? So, yeah. All right, so let's try it with some more interesting numbers. So if I look at number 13, for example, the points have square roots in them. Lucky us. So I'm just going to rewrite them over here so it's a little bit easier to see. Okay, so the points are 2, yeah. Say hi, Mom. And 6 root 3. I have 44 subscribers now, I think.
How many do you need before you make money?
1,000.
Exactly 1,000?
You need a minimum of 1,000 subscribers, and they need to have watched, well, not them, but in all, you need to have like is it 100 watch hours?
You could be like
something like that.
5 on a quiz if
66 fake
you
accounts.
subscribe to your channel.
It's not going to get me where I need to be. People are watching my quadratic videos, so they're very popular.
Like and subscribe.
Plus 1 point people watching.
Okay, so here's our 2 points. I'm just going to throw it in the formula, right? So, subtract the x's. 6 minus 2, close it, square it. That one's easy enough. Now the y's. y2 is root 3 minus -3 root 3, right? So if it's minus negative, it's plus 3 root 3. Close it, square it. All right, now be careful. Let's see how much of your algebra skills still exist. So 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 squared is, okay. All right, great. What is this? Root 3 plus 3 root 3.
Can't you multiply it because it has a square root? So, I mean the square, so it would just be 3 plus 9 equals 3 times 3.
But you're adding them together, you're not multiplying them.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
I don't want to do it.
I have root 3 plus 3 root 3. Yes! Isn't that one of them plus 3 more of them? Gets me 4 root 3's altogether. Right? Remember that? So now I'll have 4 root 3's, but now I need to square that. So that's where I think you're thinking about.
Yeah.
So now I need to square everything that's in there. So I'll have 4 squared 16, right? Times square root of 3 squared is just 3. So I really have 16 times 3, which is 48. Does that make sense? Do you see where that all came from? 4 squared is 16, and then the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is just 3. So 16 times 3 is the 48. So now I'll add 16 and 48 together, and that gets me 64. So this one just so happens to come out to be 8.
How would you graph square roots when the coordinates are 2?
You would have to turn into a decimal and give it your best approximation. Okay, so let's see if we can do one more together. How about, it doesn't really matter. How about, I don't know, anybody have a preference from 14 to 22? 22, okay. 22. No, I did not. That's why you are more than welcome to use your own paper. 22, so the points are negative 8 root 3, negative 7 root 7, negative 4 root 3, and root 7. Okay, so if I want to find the distance between these 2 points, big old square root, subtract the x's. So negative 4 root 3 minus negative 8 root 3 becomes plus 8 root 3. Close it, square it. There's my x's. Do the y's. It'd be root 7 minus negative root 7 turns into plus 7 root 7. Close it, square it. Okay, now it's just a matter of being careful with your numbers. So, negative 4 root 3 plus 8 root 3 would get me positive 4 root 3. And then I'm going to have to square that. I'll do that in a minute. Root 7 plus 7 root 7 would be, yes, 8 root 7. So now, take a minute and think what you think 4 root 3 squared is. Don't say it out loud. Just get what number you think that is. I hope you got it because it's the same one we just did. Yes, I do 4 squared, which is 16. Root 3 times root 3 is just 3. 16 times 3 gets me a 48. Do the same thing over here. What would 8 root 7 squared get me? 16? 64 times, oh, be careful. Just 7, right? Because it's square root. So 64 times 7, 448 is right. So now, you got to add those two together. 496, you say? And I don't know if that's a perfect square. Let's see. 496. It's not. But I bet you it has a perfect square factor. Here's what you can do. So,
It's 49.
49 didn't work. I tested 4 and 124 came out. Since 124 has a factor of 4, right? That means 16 at least will go in. So 496 divided by 16, I get 16 and 31. 31 doesn't have any perfect square factors, so I know I'm done. So 16 and 31. So 4 root 31 is my final answer. Pretty cool.